They named him King of the One-Liners because the stuff he comes out with. In fact, just yesterday he said to me, I think I was giving him into trouble for something, and he said, when you first became my mummy, you were beautiful, but now you're just grumpy.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast Chatzzz. And we've got a very special guest today. Jenna, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So we connected, didn't we, at the ladies at lunch dinner? Was that last week or the week before?
I think it was 2 Wednesdays ago at Andalusian, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's very, very well put on by Tracy. So, and yeah, I got roped into this, didn't I?
Because was that the first one you went to, Tracy?
Very first event. It's always seemed to have clashed with work and things before. So when it fell on my day off, I thought, right, I'm there. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Glad that I went.
Yeah, it was good fun. So anyone that doesn't know, I did a talk there about social media, didn't I? And give you a bit of inspiration, because Tracy messaged me saying she wants me to talk about digital, social media and marketing. And I was like, I don't want it to be boring, like talk there. Yeah. Oh. So then just give people like a few tips and inspiration. And then you said you've started doing a few videos, haven't you? Definitely.
The very next day, it was like he'd give me a kick up the bum. I was back online and yeah, I've put some of them into action already and it's been good. It's just keeping the momentum, isn't it? It is really hard. And I feel like we need somebody like you just on our shoulder all the time. Like, come on, do this, do that, do that. Yeah.
But I think like what I said is, it's just finding what's like sustainable for you, isn't it? Like there's no point you posting like every day and burning yourself out. If you can post once or twice a week, then that's fine.
Yeah, and that's typically been my downfall. I go through phases of where I'm feeling really organised and creative, and you can pretty much tell when that is with me. If you look at my social media, it's like, oh, she's on it. She posts every day this week, and then you'll see nothing for a month. So that's where I've gone a little bit wrong. For sure.
Yeah. Nice. So what we're going to do is get you to introduce yourself to the viewers and the listeners if you're meeting someone for the first time, and I'm going to run and get my water bottle. So go.
Okay. So, this is so tricky. I've been talking about myself, but I'm Jenna, also known as the Skin Genie, or Genie, as is my old high school nickname. And I own the Skin Genie clinic in Carlisle, which we're based at Houghton Hall Garden Centre now. I've been here for around 18 months. And we do things like look after people's acne, rosacea, or we take off things like warts, skin tags, blood spots, red veins, or we laser people's hairy legs, things like that. Nice. So a nice mix. But yeah, it keeps us busy, keeps us out of trouble.
Yeah, that's why I always say busy, out of trouble. That's the main thing, isn't it?
Ish, yeah. Out of trouble-ish.
So hopefully this isn't one of your facts, but why was your nickname Genie at school? Or was that one of your facts?
No, it wasn't actually. No, it wasn't. That was a big one. Yeah. So I don't know. It's one of them, and actually only a certain group of friends know this about me. So my Carlisle friends don't call me Jeannie. Or Jean, or Billie Jean, that's it comes out. I went to school in Annan, so it's that circle of friends. My best friend's middle name is Joan, and me and Rebecca Joan worked at a salon in Annan when we were sort of 16, 17. And it was just one of those things. She was like, well, I've got Joan, so we'll call you Jean. Like Joan and Jean. And yeah, I don't know. Do you know one of these? I'm not 100% sure where it came from, but it's something around that. And so it was Jean. And then that developed into Jeannie or Billie Jean, sometimes just Bill, Jeannie Bob. But there's different variations of the name.
You sound like you're a dog, because like dogs get like names like that.
It's got like 5 names. Yeah, thanks for that.
Sorry, that came out terribly, didn't it?
You sound like a dog. Yeah. But yeah, that's where my nickname came from. And then obviously the clinic, but actually not a lot of people know that. They just think it's Skin Genie because we're all genies working on people's skin, but that's where it came from.
That's interesting.
So, yeah. But no, that's not one of my facts.
Cool. Yeah, it should have been. So then let's go into the 3 facts then.
Oh gosh. I really struggled with this because I said to you before, I was probably overthinking it, trying to make them really interesting and quirky, and realised I wasn't that interested and quirky. So I'll keep it plain and simple. So I have a 6-year-old son called Ezra and an 8-month-old puppy called Marshall. So they're like, apart from the clinic, what takes up my whole life, I suppose, other than work. Ezra's a little whirlwind, but nothing compared to the puppy.
Oh, really?
Have you got dogs?
No.
Yeah, I don't.
I had a family dog when I was younger, but I think it would be different having one when I'm an adult. Yeah.
It is. So my memory of having the family dog, we had Labradors. I love Labradors. I wouldn't even say I'm that much of a doggy person or even an animal person, just Labradors.
Yeah.
And we had 2 labs growing up, and obviously I loved them, but my memory of them is just all good stuff. So now as the adult, as the household owner, that was a great idea to get a puppy. And obviously all the hard bits are then coming back, like the training and the walking and the chewing and the following me to the toilet. And yeah, I picked up this teeny cute as ever little Labrador at 8 months on. He's like a lion or a horse, or he's absolutely huge. So we need to get the tram and he's a big house. So yeah, so Ezra and Marshall, yeah, pretty much what I do other than skin. So yeah.
What's it like being a mum then? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah. I mean, everyone says this, doesn't it? Don't they? It's the best. It is the best job and the hardest job in the world. Nobody can prepare you for it. It's moments of gritted teeth and then moments of just like pure brilliance. And Ezra's a funny little character. They told me at nursery that he was going to be a comedian. They named him King of the One-Liners because the stuff he comes out with. In fact, just yesterday he said to me, I think I was giving him into trouble for something, and he said, "When you first became my mummy, you were beautiful, but now you're just grumpy." So I was like, do you know what you're trying not to laugh? It's like, oh, thanks, son.
That is quite funny.
I'm trying not to be grumpy.
Oh, I think 6, like, they must have their own personalities.
It's unreal. It's unreal. The stuff he comes out with, I can't even think of anything at the minute, but just their little brains and their imaginations it's funny. It's comical.
Yeah, I'd love to have a son. That's what I want,
yeah.
But I need a girlfriend first, but then I go to the son after.
Yeah, that would definitely. Yeah, boys. So I always had this when I was pregnant. Not that I was bothered either way. When I was pregnant, I was convinced I was having a girl. And then obviously got a scan and we realised it was a boy. And I thought, oh, yeah. And I just thought, yeah. And I would have more boys, to be honest. Yeah. It's not in the plan. But if boys are dead loving and funny and girls are divas.
Yeah. Drama queens, yeah. Right, second fact.
So this one's funny. So
this is a funny one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the other one's quite funny as well. But once upon a time, I was serenaded by Frankie Valli on an aeroplane in the first class cabin. Do you know who Frankie Valli is?
No.
Which is why he serenaded me. I was like 21 at the time and I worked on board Virgin. I was an in-flight beauty therapist, and the odd time would get little like celebrities on and things like that. And he come on and he was, wanted to let me know who he was. And I said, "Oh, what do you do?" And he says, "I'm a singer." Like, "All right." I said, "Sorry, what's your name?" He's like, Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. And I was like, 21. It's all the songs from, Dirty Dancing, the movie.
Oh, yeah,
He's in a lot of that.
Did he?
So he was like, "You must have heard some of our songs." And I was like, "Go on then." And he erupted into Sherry Baby.
I don't know, I got to sing it now.
Sherry Baby. No, okay.
I don't think I've ever watched Dirty Dancing. Okay, yeah. I'll have to get Phil to overlay the song. We don't get copyrighted to like do a 3-second clip or something.
No. So, yeah, that was pretty funny. I guess it's only funny if you know who Frankie Valli is.
I'm sure some people will though. That's cool though.
Will, yeah, but I was, only young at the time and didn't have a clue. And I come home and I told like my parents and my grandparents, and they're like, "Frankie Valli." And I was like, yeah, it was cool.
I didn't have a clue who it was at the time, but you think it's cool.
But that's my claim to fame, Frankie
that's
Valli.
Cool.
I mean, Bono would have been better, but...
Yeah, I know Bono, yeah.
We know who he is, yeah. I'll take Frankie Valli. So that's the second fact.
Oh, cool. And the third one?
I'm pretty decent at the hula hoop.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't you bring the hula hoop? That's what you said. You said, oh, you're going to get him to prove it.
Follow up because I'm not proving it. Yeah, I'm not too shabby at doing the hula hoop. Yeah, which I've discovered as an adult, not many people can do.
Yeah, you need some rhythm, don't you?
Yeah, it's tricky, but can you do it?
Oh no, hula hoop to find out. I say, yeah, I'm amazing.
Yeah, so it was a B&M purchase. Like last summer, I bought Ezra a hula hoop and I thought, I'm going to have one of them. And yeah, it turns out I can hula hoop.
Oh, nice. That's only recent then, only the last year.
Last summer. But, yeah. Well, I could hula hoop as a child, but I did not think I'd be able to do it now. But I can. Yeah.
Are you better than your son?
Yes.
Oh,
he's rubbish.
Now you're slating him.
Yeah, works both ways.
So right, let's go back to a little Jenna then. What you were like growing up, apart from hula hooping. What did you enjoy doing? What was your upbringing like?
I've struggled with this question again. So I asked family members yesterday, oh, I'm getting an interview tomorrow and I need to find out what was growing up because I don't remember much. Like my memory's sketchy at the best of times with what I was doing last week, but childhood's big gaps. But I think it was like any typical girl, to be honest. Quite girly, massive Spice Girls fan.
Oh, yeah. Still
am. And my Auntie Diane made a good point, actually. She said, you were always obsessed with skincare and cosmetics and things from quite a young age because she was one of the counter ladies in House of Fraser, or Bins it was called at the time. Yeah. And she worked on the Kristen Dior counter and she said, oh, you were about 6 or 7 and you used to just come and sit and put all the creams on and get your nails done and things really? Like that. Yeah. So I don't remember that, but she told me that that's what I enjoyed doing on Saturday.
Yes.
And then, just a typical teenager, I think. I always remember being quite curious. So always been pretty ambitious. And still, I think the same as that, curiosity gets the better of me, which is sometimes a good thing, sometimes not. And pretty normal-ish, I think. Yeah. So, yeah.
What did you enjoy doing in your free time then, apart from putting makeup on at the makeup top?
Played hockey.
Yes?
Yeah, it's on the hockey team, which is where the scar's from. Yeah. So it was a hockey ball to the face. Yeah, it's a good few
Hockey is
stitches.
Brutal, though.
It is.
I enjoyed it at school, but I was always scared of like getting hit by the ball or something.
You should be. Yeah, I don't recommend it. No. I enjoyed it at the time and I did continue to play after I got hit in the face with a hockey ball, but probably a bit more cautiously, which is a bad thing. I was okay at hockey. I was never going to make it professional. Probably like most young lads that play football. Yeah. But I enjoyed doing that and hanging out with friends and stuff and making up dance routines to the Spice Girls.
You said you were ambitious then. Like, what did you want to do, or was it?
So my mum said this, and I thought, yeah, that's probably right. I was always kind of the if something was going on or there was something new, like I thought, oh, I'll do that. I'll try that. It's like this podcast. Yeah. And then regret it. I thought, oh, you can come to it. Oh yeah, I'll literally do anything and try anything once. So yeah, I think ambition is probably something that just runs in our family. We're all a bit like that. I was never ambitious in the sense that I always wanted to have a business. That came later, but just I'll try anything out. Yeah. Yeah.
What did you want to do, or what did you want to be apart from a slice? Yeah. Replace pop.
So from a young age, I did want to do beauty. I trained as a beauty therapist originally. Left school when I was 16 and went to college in Dumfries and trained in beauty. I was thinking that I could cure my own eczema.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We're a family of eczema sufferers, and this is how the skin thing came later on. Because I realised you don't learn that at beauty college. You learn loads of other stuff and good stuff, but you don't learn how to cure eczema. So yeah, I wanted to be in that industry. I enjoyed that. And so I went to Dumfries and did my 3 years. And then I worked as a beauty therapist just in the local salon in Annan, which is where I lived at the time. Didn't really think too much into the skin side of things at the time. Still had the eczema. So it evolved into skin like much later down the line. Yeah. But it wasn't what I wanted to do when I was young. I don't think I knew. I don't think anyone knows at 16, do they?
I think it's hard, though, isn't it? I was speaking to someone the other day on Friday, and one of her facts/regrets was that she didn't get her GCSE English and maths.
Really?
And I was saying, and she's obviously done really well for herself and progressed, and that's maybe 25 years on or something. I was saying, that's so interesting that's still a thing.
Still throughout. Yeah. Even though it kind of hasn't mattered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like at 16, you may be drilled in or conditioned to think these GCSEs at the end of your life. If you don't pass these, you're done. So your life is over.
Your life is over. And you still see it now with parents whose children are at that time at school and taking exams and things, really something that the parents stress more than the kids. It is important. I don't think it's not important, but it's not everything. I didn't go to uni. I didn't get great grades in school. It depends. I think education is so, certainly in the UK anyways, like this is
a memory test exams. As well.
Yeah. And I just think you can do well in life even without being that well educated.
Yeah. And you can excel in different things, can't you? It doesn't have to just be like book smart or whatever, I think.
Yeah. Math, phonics. I'm just thinking about Ezra's school report the other day, like the subjects are the same subjects that you always do, but nothing about, other things.
Yeah.
That maybe not on the curriculum.
No, like, I don't know, budgeting or mortgages or...
You don't get taught any of that. And suddenly you have to become an adult and learn how to...
Get car insurance or house insurance, loans.
And do a business plan and get a mortgage. And it is, it's difficult. I still don't understand it.
No, I don't think anyone does, do they? They just make it up as they go along.
They don't teach us that on purpose.
Yeah.
That we all get into debt.
I think it's even like I did business studies A-levels and didn't learn anything. It's crazy.
Pensions. Yeah. Pension's a thing. I'm like, pension. Turns out you definitely do.
Unless you're only working until you're 90 until you die.
And understanding like interest.
It's like general economics and stuff, isn't it? Of the way things work.
Yeah. And that's actually the world. That's everything really, isn't it?
So at 16 then.
Yeah.
You went to beauty college.
Went to beauty college just because I thought I might get some tips on how to cure my eczema. Didn't really know if that's what I was wanting to do full time. Yeah, probably just typical 16-year-old, a bit lost.
Yeah.
Didn't know. Knew I didn't want to stay on at school because I wasn't an academic.
Yeah.
So I'll go to school. Some of my friends were doing beauty in here. I thought, I'll do that.
Yeah, and you kind of liked it as well.
I actually did.
Yeah.
I did. It's a people job and I'm a people person. So it was good actually.
Yeah. What did you learn in them 3 years? Was it like that you wanted to pursue the eczema and that you learned specific things but you're not what you wanted to learn? Or?
Yeah, a bit of that actually. I actually did really enjoy the job and I ended up working in a salon in Annan that I really enjoyed. I had a great boss and made some great friends. I'm still friends with them all now. So I learned a lot. Probably you learn a bit about the craft, obviously, but more so about people. I think when you work in the public, I think you can always tell the difference when someone works with the public or someone works in office, how they are with communication and people and stuff. So probably learned how to read people, how to speak to people and sort of get on with people, hopefully.
Because everyone's different, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, you can't treat everybody the same.
Absolutely not, yeah.
Especially, like you say, if you're dealing with people, because everyone's got different things that make them tick.
Yeah. We'll get 20 different personalities through the door in a day. And so you have to kind of adapt yourself to them. You can't just be, this is who I am, and you're just going to have to deal with me. This is it. So it's good to be able to do that, I guess.
Yeah. So what was next then after them 3 years? Obviously 3 years is quite a long time when you're like 16 to 19.
Yeah,
whatever, isn't
it was. It was a long course at the time. I don't think it's so long these days to do beauty, but I'm glad that it was back then because I've got a really thorough knowledge. But I continued to work in the salon in Annan and just got itchy feet, I think. It was a great job. I liked it. But as I said before, a bit curious, ambitious. Knew that I wanted to travel, but knew I wasn't like rough and ready enough to go backpacking or anything cool like that. So I thought, how can I travel and stay in hotels with no money? Go and work for Virgin Atlantic.
Yeah.
So and it just so happened to be that at that time they had beauty therapists on board doing massage and little mini treatments, obviously nothing too elaborate on the plane. So I applied and I never heard back from them for about 4 months. So I thought, that's it. So I took off to Ibiza for the summer, as you do. And in the summer I did get a letter to say, you've been successful. So moved down to like near Gatwick and flew for about 3 years. So
so
it
cool.
was college beauty therapist, in-flight beauty therapist.
Yeah.
And then I got made redundant.
What? 3 years?
How dare they? Yeah.
What was it? What was it like before you got made redundant? I mean, I'd imagine that'd be so cool. That was just traveling around, doing treatments, seeing the world. Yeah,
it was really good, and I got what I wanted. I got put up in a hotel. Yeah, it was amazing. Looking back now, I would say probably way too young to appreciate what I was doing. I'd love to do it now.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got ties when you're older. When I was just grown up and moved out, I might go do it again. Yeah, it was amazing. It was a whirlwind. You were always jet lagged. You would wake up, you didn't know what country you were in. You'd live on room service, plain food, takeaways, not the healthiest lifestyle. It was good. It was amazing. Made some great friends. And a lot of people say that, and I did think about this actually when we're talking about regrets. And I always kind of thought, do I regret not going to uni? Not for the education, funnily enough, but more for the experience.
And like, you grow up at uni as well, I think.
Totally. Yeah, you have to take on the world. So, but I kind of think that was maybe my uni days, because I was young. I lived in a flat with flatmates and travelled and just, like you say, grew up, learned how to...
Just like, with that, it sounds like you've kind of got responsibilities, but you don't really have too many responsibilities at the same time.
Yeah. Sometimes phone at home, help. I've no money. Well, it says I've no money. I definitely have to spend it.
That sounds like uni, yeah.
So I think that's definitely my time learning to cook, learning, looking after
Wash
your home.
and clean,
Drying, learning what a good drying day is.
The boring stuff.
Windy, sunny day, apparently. Yeah. My flatmate at the time, she was a little bit older than me, and she still laughs at me to this day. And she says, how do you run a business now, Jenna? And I said, why? And she says, you tried to cook a tin of beans in the microwave, it's still in the tin. But when you're 20,
you don't have a clue, do you?
I didn't know that I shouldn't go in the microwave. And she's like, I don't know how you've done this. I didn't have much sense at the time, but you learn fast.
That's so funny.
Yeah, definitely grew up.
So then what was it like then when you got made redundant? Were you upset? Were you thinking, I'm ready for the next chapter?
Gutted, absolutely gutted. Don't get me wrong, it was 3 years in, 3 years of jet lag. I was tired. So it maybe had occurred to me I couldn't do this forever. It wasn't sustainable for a long time. But I was, devastated when we all got the letter. It was around the time when a lot of airlines were going bust because of fuel prices and things like that. And so a lot of them took measures to save money. And I guess for Virgin, the beauty therapists were a luxury and not a necessity. So we all got made redundant. We did get offered jobs as cabin crew. So they said, you can stay on, but you have to be crew. And I thought, no, this is my industry now, when I was invested at that point. So I thought I'll take the redundancy and see what else there is. So that was it. Yeah, it was disappointing.
Oh, that is good. Yeah. So what was next then when you got back? What were you thinking? Where was your headspace at?
So I stayed down south for a little while afterwards because I was enjoying being down south. I moved up to London. I moved from Gatwick up to London, and I got a job in a clinic in Selfridges on Oxford Street. And I would probably say that's where the skin thing started. That was the transition between beauty therapists to skin therapists, because they were it was London, it's different. They were streets ahead of us in Cumbria at the time with the types of treatments they offered. And I got a job there. I loved it. It was brilliant. So I don't know how I got it, but long story short, I ended up working in Selfridges doing a lot of skin work. Still beauty, but more skin. And
What did you enjoy then about the skin then rather than the beauty? Because you must have been doing beauty obviously from college and then airline for 6 or so years before you. A while. I think the job satisfaction with skin trumps beauty. I think beauty is quite a superficial thing, isn't it? And it's different for everyone. I mean, it's nice to have your hair done and your nails and whatever makes women feel good, and that is good, and men. But the skin thing, and probably haven't had skin problems when I was younger, it just resonated with me better because it doesn't just make you feel good. Like, it can be life-changing. Yeah. If people that have not had a skin issue actually don't understand what it's like to wake up every day with new spots on your face, or your eczema's flared up again, or your psoriasis is kicking off, or whatever. So being able to help people even just a little bit with that was like, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. So going back to what we said before, when I was 16, didn't really know. I thought, do beauty sounds like fun. It was when I worked at Selfridges, I thought, yes. Yeah, that's it. And by that point, I was like 20, mid-20s. So it took a while. Yeah, it takes a while, doesn't it? Like, everyone's on their own timeline. There's no like rush or anything. But it's interesting you say about the skin. I remember, was it last week or the week before? I think it was maybe when we were doing the talk. I had like spots Because I was
stress of coming to talk to us.
I'd been like traveling quite a lot and been like eating out and stuff, and I was like, oh my God, because you do get more self-conscious. I think I had one on my forehead and one on like my cheek. Like, this is literally the worst timing ever. But I'm quite lucky I don't normally get spots, but I couldn't even imagine what it'd be like if you had like acne and stuff. It'd be
it's
it
not
would affect
nice.
you.
Yeah, mentally for people. I mean, we get people coming on and they sit on the couch and, you know, they're in tears because, and unfortunately, this sometimes is the last place people come because they go, you know, they go to the high street or they go on the internet for advice or take their friend's advice or whatever. And by the time they get to us, they're just at their wit's end. So like emotionally, it is not great for people that have got a skin problem. So, yeah.
Yeah, so what was it like in London then? Like you say, you found that you wanted to do skin, but how long were you there and what kind of stuff did you learn personally and in like the workplace?
I think I stayed in London for another 2 years after that. And yeah, it was a blur again. London life is fast. You're here, you're there, you're on the tube. I was skint, never had any money.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we weren't paid great at the time and London life is expensive, but somehow managed it every month to still get out on a Saturday night. I don't know how I did it. But yeah, it was a good time, a busy time. What did I learn? Lots about skin. I think, and this is where the difference comes, I think, between beauty therapists and skin therapists. I thought, you think you know a bit about skin. And then I realised I absolutely didn't. Gosh, so much more to this. No wonder I can't cure my own eczema. So yeah, and it's just ever changing as well, I suppose. The industry's ever changing. It's keeping up with it. So
that's the hard bit though, isn't it? Like you say, new stuff coming out every single probably week and month and year.
Yeah, still now. I know, I mean, we go down to the trade shows and it's just crazy the technologies that they're coming out with even now. I mean, that was 10 years ago and it was amazing. But now it's, you know, it goes fast.
Yeah.
Fast. So yeah, loads to learn.
Defo. So then after the 2 years, how come you wanted to leave London? Was it just because it was just too fast paced?
It was tiring. Yeah. I kind of missed home. There's no place like home. I have been home ever since. And yeah, missed family, missed friends. It was getting tiring, expensive. I got an opportunity when I worked at Selfridges. We did a lot of training with a place called the Dermal Institute, which is run by a brand called Dermalogica, a skincare brand. And we did a lot of training with them. And an opportunity came up to work for them in their Glasgow office. So I thought, I could still sort of do this and then work for them. And Glasgow, not quite home, but a bit closer to home. Like London it doesn't seem far away now, but at the time when I was 20, it did. Yeah. So yeah, I took the opportunity to just take that job in Glasgow, work with Dermalogica, and then I was just an hour away. So it was back and forward on the train. I hated living in Glasgow.
Really? Why? I thought Glasgow was quite like a lot going on. We've got quite a few clients in Glasgow now.
It's a great city. I love Glasgow.
Boy, you slate it.
It is, but at the time, what had happened was I'd come from a household of living with my mates. Yeah. And I'd lived in London and I loved it and it was great. And I just thought, I'll go to Glasgow and I'll do the same. I'll just make new friends and and I just didn't because I was a bit older by then. Yeah. It's not so easy. Yeah. I mean, I was 20. This is probably getting into like later 20s. So price-wise, I could afford what I was paying in Wimbledon for one room. Could afford a whole flat in Glasgow. Oh, cool. So I thought I'll get a whole flat. So I got a flat. But actually, the downside of that was I had no flatmates. Yeah, so you couldn't speak to them and make any friends, Yeah, it was difficult. So I would work Monday to Friday for Dermalogica. And then on the weekend, I would get the train home to Carlisle. So I actually didn't spend that much time in Glasgow. Yeah. And so, I do like Glasgow, but didn't love living there. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you know? Yeah, because I suppose you were literally just like working there, weren't you? Then just going home at the weekends and then going back. Yeah, so it was just a work flat. Yeah. And the office I worked in was really small, but there was like 3 other people there. So, and they were different ages and things like that. So it just, from a social point of view, didn't work. Yeah. So, is that important to you then, the social aspect, would you say? Yeah. I'm definitely a social bunny. Not so much now, but I was. But yeah, I'm happiest when I'm with people. And then sometimes I think I crave my own company because I've worked with people all day and I chat to these and chat to that. And I'm like, no peace of quiet. And then I'll get it. And then an hour later, I'm like, Want to meet for coffee? Yeah, I'm definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So then how long did you get sick of that after then, in living in Glasgow?
I think I only lasted about a year in Glasgow, if that. Yeah.
And what was after that then? Was you in your late 20s then?
Yeah, later 20s or mid to late 20s. Can't remember, maybe 26 or something.
Still doing skin?
Yeah, still. So at this point, working for Dermalogica, really into skin because that's all they do. And because they're a training provider as well. It was just phenomenal. Like that, working for them as a company where I think they are responsible for the way I approach things now. Like they were a fantastic company to work for. And I was gutted to leave them, but I just hated living there so much. I wanted to move home. So actually, the 6 months went and worked at the North Lake Spa at Penrith.
Oh yeah. I worked there. Yeah. So I went to uni in Cardiff, but then I had to do like a year's placement. So I was doing hospitality. So then I went and worked there for a year, just like in every department. And then I worked there till I finished uni as well. Yeah. So that was quite a few years ago now.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. Honestly, it's such a great place to work.
Yeah. It was good.
Because was Anthony the general manager when you worked there? And was
Anthony Penny.
Yeah. He's been on the podcast as well.
Has he?
And he was a spa manager when I was is it Joe? Joe Brown?
Yes.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
It's a small world.
So I went into spa treatments, but as much as it was a nice place to work, didn't love it, missed skin. I was like, this is just not me. The hotel environment, it just wasn't me. I wanted to have my hands fixing skin and doing that again. So luckily for me, Dermalogica needed a remote trainer for Cumbria in the northeast.
Oh,
and I was like, and they took me back.
They're going back to your ex, isn't it?
I went back with my tail between my legs and said, that was a mistake. I never have left. But luckily, they were quite understanding of my situation. And they knew why I'd left. It was just a location thing. And so when the remote job came up for Cumbria and the northeast, they were like, yeah, we'll have you back. So I got my skin, what I wanted, at home.
Yeah.
So by this point, I'd moved to Carlisle by this point. So yeah, very short stint at the North Lakes.
Yeah. No, I loved it there. It's good. Great for me for experience. Like I say, Anthony gave me a lot of responsibility for being a uni student and stuff. Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, I remember Anthony. Yeah. Give me a job.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Big shout out to Anthony.
Yeah.
So then Dermalogica remote trainer then, was it?
Yes. Sales and training. We did at the time. It was a bit of a dual role. Yeah. So my job then was to look after other clinics, salons, clinics, anyone that stocked the brand. I would drive around and just have meetings with them and, train them in whatever was new, things like that, and just help them really. It's like a support role, I suppose. It was good. And then I did that for 9 years.
9 years. You must have enjoyed that then.
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. Can't have been 9 years. 9 years in total from when I started and then left and then came back, I think it was. Okay. Yeah. Because I forget about that little North Lake stint in the middle.
But you escaped temporarily.
Yes.
So you said that they kind of shaped you to how you think and how you work today.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. They're quite a empowering company, a very female-dominated company, and very much into giving women the tools to be brilliant at whatever it is they choose to do. Because obviously our job was to look after our stockists. Predominantly, not always the case, but the salons are female-run businesses. So they were very into that, very nurturing and really good with training and education and really good to work for. We had to then give that to our stockists. So they were really good with us. And it was only when I had my little one that I left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just couldn't hack all the mileage when I had a baby.
Yeah, it'd be hard work, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was 6 years ago when you left?
Yeah, it must have been, yeah. So
crazy.
I'd be 30, so I don't even know.
You don't have to say your age in the podcast if you don't want. So then 9 years is obviously a long stint, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of change in skin.
Yes.
Since then, yeah.
Yeah. And how you treat it is so different to how we treat it now. Not that we were doing it wrong back then, but just we've got so much more at our disposal now in terms of product and formulas and technology and things like that. So yeah, it's more exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then when you had your son then, how long were you off for like maternity and then when did you get back to work kind of thing?
It was a good idea. It took the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you do. And fully intended to go back. loved my job, fully intended to go back, and I did go back. What started off my area was Cumbria in the northeast, had evolved to the whole of Scotland, Cumbria, the northeast, bit of Yorkshire. So it got bigger and bigger as time went on, and you just did it. And I would drive 900 miles a week and not bat an eyelid. But then suddenly when you've got a little one at home and the nursery phones you and you're in Aberdeen.
It's a long way, right? Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. And I was just this like mental battle between I love my job, I'm not quitting, and just wanting to be home. So yeah, just had to take the decision to leave.
Yeah. But that was tough though.
Yeah, it was. I genuinely thought I'd be at Dermalogica forever.
Yeah.
I'm glad now that I did leave, because obviously things have happened since then. But yeah, it was really hard. But your life does change when you have kids, I suppose, and you've got to make, it's just not about you anymore. So.
Yeah, priorities change, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So then, did you ever want to have your own business then? That's all?
No.
No.
To be honest, even when I was saying before about the ambition thing, a business wasn't part of it. It only sort of happened when I left Dermalogica. I thought,
Yeah.
like literally, I left with no job. No. I'd started, it's quite funny thinking back to it now, but I'd started, and you'll laugh at this because you're an expert at social media. Don't go back to the very beginning of my Instagram page until I've deleted some posts. But when I was on maternity leave, my son had eczema, same as me. So I started a little mini blog about mum, baby, eczema, just because you're off and you've got time.
Yeah.
And it's sort of just gathered a bit of momentum. Like other people's kids had eczema and they were asking me questions, because I had background in knowledge in skin at this point. I thought I can help people with this and I know what to do now. So I was managing his eczema, posting stuff online, helping other people. And it started a little blog, I suppose. And then because people knew my background, they were like, well, can you also just help me with my skin as well? And I've got acne and I keep waking up with these spots. And so it just evolved into a skincare page.
Yeah.
And I thought, I could do something with this. So that was Skin Genie. That was cool. So I'd never ever
so cool.
set out to make a business.
Yeah.
I just thought, I think I can help people with their skin. And this is how much of a not of a businesswoman I am. It only occurred to me later that I could charge for it. Money off this. So yeah, definitely not a natural businesswoman. It's coming now, 4 years on. You learn a lot. But yeah.
That's cool though, like how organic it was though.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And they say that that's how you should run a business. You've got to help people with something. And if you're not there to help them, you're in the wrong business. So it's definitely the right business for me. So yeah, it evolved. And my page was called Skin Genie. Yeah. But it was spelled with a J at the time. And people said to me, do you know you spelled Genie wrong?
Oh, I bet you got that all the time.
I was like, no, it's because my nickname was J. And I thought, I don't know, I'm just going to change it to a G because I'm sick of this. So yeah, we changed it to Genie and then it became Skin Genie Clinic.
Oh, that's so cool.
So there you go.
So then people just started messaging you, asking for help and stuff. And then you just giving out free advice.
Yeah, it was free in the beginning. Yeah. And then I cottoned on. Yeah, I thought this should not be because it's your time, isn't it?
Yeah. So when did you kind of think, oh, bloody hell, I should probably start charging people for this?
Yeah. When I realised I had no salary.
So pretty quickly then.
The dots, yeah. So yeah, a couple of months of no wages, I thought, right. And I kind of thought, am I doing this as a hobby? What am I doing here? Am I going to go and get a job? And I looked at various things, explored a few different options, and I just thought, no, it's not for me. And I knew, without sounding, big head, I knew I was quite good at it. So I thought, I don't want to work for anyone else. I should do this for myself. So yeah, in the beginning, I just rented a room from someone else. I rented a room at the salon I used to work at in Annan when I was a teenager.
Oh, so no way.
Right back to
full circle,
again. Yeah. So never burn your bridges. Yeah. And so I rented a room there and I rented a room at a place in Carlisle as well, a few days a week. And then it just sort of gathered a bit of momentum after that. And then I thought, right, I need my own place. Yeah. So
that's the power of social media though, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you
big
can
time.
Yeah, if you can find that, let's say the problem, and you can help people, and then people will start to think, oh, bloody hell, that's useful.
She knows what she's talking about. But back then, we were saying before, Instagram was easier.
Always, yeah.
It gathered momentum quite quickly. It's not too easy now.
No, it's timing though is so important in anything you do, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Because people say like, oh, I hate when people say like, you're lucky, you're not lucky, but you put yourself in that situation and maybe you have timed it right, haven't you? But you still need to offer that good product or service to keep that a long time, isn't it? Yeah.
Anybody can't just be at the right place at the right time. You've got to have something, some substance, I suppose.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think it's all luck.
No, it's not at all. I don't really believe in luck at all, but I think
hard work.
Yeah, but like a lot of people will say that, I think.
They do, yeah. And a lot of people, because we've obviously relocated here in the last year or so, and they didn't know any of what I've just told you. You're so lucky to have this skin clinic. I'm like, yeah, you do have the blood and tears, and how many times I've almost thrown the towel in the last 4 years. So, yeah, I don't think that was lucky. Yeah,
that's what I mean. They only see the finished product, don't they? They don't see all the work that's gone in and stuff.
Yeah, it's the same with everyone, isn't it? And you do it. We're all guilty of it. You look at that and you think, oh, yeah. And they're like, what do you not?
You would not like to be in our situation.
Yeah.
So then you said you started renting a few days a week, Annan and Carlisle, and then things started picking up a bit of momentum.
Yeah.
Was it just like kind of a steady increase of just getting busier, or was it like a moment you thought, oh, that's really when things started to kick on to the next level?
I think the moment was, I was all over the place. I was between Annan and Carlisle. It wasn't ideal because I was taking my kit around the place. And as the treatments evolved, the kit got bigger and bigger. And I thought, it's not the type of job I can do on the road. I need a base. And so I found myself a tiny, tiny little unit at Harker, just outside of Carlisle. And it was an absolute steal in rent. Like it was a good... maybe that was a little bit of luck. Stumbled across that, and I
there is such thing as luck, people.
Just in the right place, the right time. I did stumble across that at the right time, and the rent on this unit was less than what I was paying in all these different locations. Yeah, it was, and I just thought, it's going from being in someone else's premises, so you just renting a room, to then suddenly having your own shop. It's like scary, but I just. Like I said before, I'll just give anything a go. I kind of just, sod it, I'll do it. Excellent business. Analytical thinking at its finest. But yeah, so that was the moment when I got that location, it just erupted. Yeah. And because people knew what it was and knew they could come to me, they didn't have to try and track me down. What location was I at this week? Yeah, that was the moment it turned around. So it was really good being there.
But what was it like then, setting it all up?
Stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a really small unit, so it didn't take much work to get it looking the way I wanted. But it was stressful. It was exciting though, because it was my own. You've got a job and you stress, and it's for someone else. It's not so nice, but it was a project and it was exciting. So yeah, I actually loved it. I painted it myself, and that's a lie. And did do some of the painting myself.
You didn't have to say that.
Many friends and family members at the time. But yeah, we did it between me and family and friends. We all got it to a little clinic. It was good.
That's cool. What was the first day like opening it?
Do you know, I felt there. You know, you suddenly feel like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Every day.
Yeah. Yeah, it was brilliant. It was exciting. It was clients that I'd already knew. So I'd put all my familiar people in on that first day just till I could find my feet. But it was like being in any new work environment. Where'd I put everything? I can't find my sisters. Where's this and where's that? But it was good day. And it was very nerve-wracking. But when the first day was done, I thought, yeah, that's it now. Done. Yeah.
So she said that's when it really started to kick off then, yeah?
Yeah, it did. It did.
How did it kind of progress from there then?
So things just got busier and busier, and it was just me all on my own doing the clinic. I was the skin therapist and the business owner and the cleaner and the person who did the social media and the accounts and all the other stuff that comes with it. And I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I loved every minute of it, and I wouldn't have changed it, but it did get to the point where I was absolute burnout. Because you're doing the job of like 10 people. And then you kind of have to think to yourself, why am I doing this? And I thought, well, I've left my job at Dermalogica so that I can be at home more for my son. But actually, I'm working like double the time. I'm up on my laptop every night and I'm this and that. And I thought, I just can't do it anymore. So it was great, but it didn't last long before I realised I couldn't manage it on my own.
Yeah.
So hence this place.
There.
Yeah.
So then you got this place, what, 18 months ago, did you say?
Yeah, we moved in January, what year are we in?
2022?
No, it must have been 2021. No. Yeah, sorry, January 2022. Yeah, you're right. It was last January. So yeah, and by that point, I'd kind of met another couple of people who I would be happy to come and work with me, taken on Sarah, who's my wing woman, I call her. She does all the social media now. Okay. So if it's rubbish, blame her. Sorry, Sarah. That's how it ended up being here. Yeah.
How did it come about then? Because like we were saying before, it's kind of like a random spot, isn't it, to have a clinic, but it does actually make sense at the same time.
Yeah. People always double ask garden centre. Yeah, that's in amongst the plans. It come about just because I was up here. I live in Houghton, so I was up here one day, noticed these little units. There wasn't any to let signs on them, but I just kind of thought, they're sitting empty and I need a new space. And I live in Houghton and so they weren't for rent. So I just made a few phone calls to Klondike, who own Houghton Hall, and finally got in touch with the person who could make a decision to let me turn one of the spare buildings into a skin clinic, and they said yes. So it was literally just in passing one day. So I've been online for months previous trying to find a new space, and nothing really fit the bill because you need parking and you need a nice location. You want footfall, but you don't really want to be in town with this type of business. So yeah, it was maybe again a little struggle. I did the work and made the phone calls.
Yeah, but like you say, if they didn't have to let signs on you, it to go out your way then, didn't you, to kind of find the person who's involved?
Yeah. I kind of got it in my head. I thought, I'm having that.
Yeah.
That's going to be my skin clinic. And I was like, and I went, yeah. It's big enough. It's in the right place. I can walk to work. Not that I ever do. So yeah, I just got it in my head. I thought, I'm having it. And yeah, they let me have it.
What was it before? It was a skin clinic, you told me before.
It was a hot tub showroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you obviously had to do quite a few renovations to make it look like this.
Yeah. Yeah, and it didn't look like this. It was the hot tubs who are still here now, but they've sort of relocated further along the garden centre. They occupied this space, and it was almost like it was a showroom, I suppose. It was just walls, tiles, and it was filled with hot tubs. Obviously, they weren't here when I got here. So it was just a big empty open space that was a bit tired looking. So we roped in all the people again, got it refit. So yeah, it took ages, to be honest. It did take a good couple of months, and nothing ever runs on time, does it, when you're doing a project like this, like a refurbishment?
No.
Again, it was quite exciting because I thought with the old unit at Harker, because it was so small, that was quite an easy project. And so I thought, I'll just project manage this again. Easy. And it wasn't. It wasn't at all, because lots of little hurdles presented themselves and with the building and the shape and stuff. And yeah, I thought I could be a property developer. If it doesn't work out, the skin out, go on Grand Designs or something, start transforming buildings. But yeah, actually much harder than it looked. Yeah, I did rope in some professional help in the end.
So the last 18 months, how's that been for you? Because obviously the last 18 months has really been where COVID's kind of stopped and gone more into real life, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, actually, because COVID was obviously working from home. We done all our skin consultations virtually online back then. And I only think I went back to the Harker clinic for like 6 months or something before we got the key. So to be honest, it was a bit of a gamble. Because it was so volatile at that time. The picture of your business at that time probably wasn't a true reflection of
what actually was it.
What it should have been or could have been or where we at. It was all a bit false. So yeah, a bit of a gamble. But again, I just got it in my head. We're doing it.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
Yeah, one way or another. But yeah, it's been great. I have to say I've got 3 facialists that work with me now, and they are brilliant. And so it definitely lightens the load. And as I say, we've got two receptionists now. So it's just, it's been a whirlwind. I can't believe it's been 18 months actually, but it's kept us busy. Yeah.
How have you found it being more like a team then rather than just you by yourself?
Much better. Yeah. Going back to being a people person, as much as I enjoyed being at Harker, it was lonely. Yeah. You were on your own. You had your clients coming in one after the other, and that was fine. But do you know, just somebody to have weather with in the morning, like stick kettle on, or someone to bring the biscuits in and cake and
have a gossip.
Have a gossip, yeah. What we're doing the weekend, what's going on, and yeah, you do develop really close relationships with people you work with. So I missed that when I was working at Harker on my own. So I really enjoy it now.
Yeah.
Don't know what they would say about me.
I'll have to get them on.
Maybe I have a different take on it. Nobody really likes their boss, do they? Hope they do.
So then if people were thinking, what do you kind of do and what do you kind of specialise in at Skin Genie, what would you say to people?
We specialise in all things skin, but particularly blemishes. So, which is quite unique to Carlisle, I think, as well. And so that's your skin tags, your warts, your veins, moles as well. And we do mole screening, which I just love doing that for people because, as you'll know, the NHS is really hard to get an appointment with. And I think it was a skin issue. People think, oh, it's not important. You know, there's people with much more problematic issues that need to see their GP rather than me and my mole. But actually, it is important. So we do mole screening here and we do a lot of it. And sadly, or not sad, but thankfully, we've detected quite a lot of cases of precancerous cells and carcinomas and things like that. So maybe they wouldn't have had them checked otherwise. So that's something we do that I'm quite proud of.
Yeah, that's good. Because I was looking at somebody on social media this morning and she posted like, can't get an appointment at the local GP for 4 months or something.
Yeah.
In Brampton, whatever. So,
and Brampton's supposed to be one of the good ones.
Yeah. And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not ideal, but that's the reality of it now, isn't it? So
why has it been like that since COVID, do you reckon? Just because they just don't have enough staff?
I think a lot of people have just left the NHS, haven't they?
Yeah, it's too much stress for the money that they get paid, don't they?
Yeah, I don't blame them, but at the same time, we need some doctors.
Yeah.
You keep saying about doing Saturday appointments, don't they? But we've not seen that yet. So it's busy. It's busy for them. And then on the other side of that, because they are so busy, the things that you used to be able to get your GP to do, like freeze a wart off, they won't do it anymore. They won't do that because it's classed as vanity. So that's actually been good for us. Yeah.
So that must be good for you then. Is it you'll be getting a lot more people coming to see you? Yeah. Because obviously they can't get appointments elsewhere and
can't go to the GP.
And they get more care and attention and time spent with them as well.
That's it. I mean, at your GP, what is it? You get 10 minutes and you go with your list of ailments, don't you? Because you're going to maximise that 10-minute appointment. Here, your consultation's 30, 40 minutes and we can spend the time with you. It's fine. I mean, obviously you pay for that, but some people are happy to. Depends on your circumstances, doesn't it? But it's definitely helpful for the ones that just don't have time to go to the GP or they can't be fitted in their free time.
I suppose, like you say, if you can find... Because didn't Molly May have like a cancerous or something? Maybe. I might be just making up a random rumor, but I swear I saw that on social media recently.
That's how rumors start. Yeah.
But like,
she might have done.
Yeah, I think she did. But I think it's important though, isn't it? Because people don't think.
It is so common. It is so common. And even just the most inconspicuous looking moles can turn out to be problematic. Or the ones that do look really suspicious actually turn out not to be. Yeah. But yeah, it's not biased like celebrities who get skin cancer too. And yeah, it's really, really common. Yeah. Because we live in Cumbria as well. We're all very outdoorsy. People are up the fells and walk along the beach or whatever. And people say, I don't live in a hot country, so I'm not exposed to UV. And it's like, well, you are. Yeah. Do you light outside? So that is UV, cloudy or not. It's light, and it is light that causes cell mutations. So yeah, Cumbria is actually, I can't remember the statistic off the top of my head, and somebody will pull me up on it if I say it wrong. But I think Cumbria is one of the highest cases of melanoma in the UK, if not the highest. Yes. That's
interesting.
Yeah, I'll check my facts on that one. But we are pretty bad in this county.
Because it's Sunscreen Awareness Month this month.
Yes, it is. Skin Cancer Awareness Month in May and Sunscreen Awareness Month. It's a month for everything now. Yeah, so I think people are a lot more educated, which is good, and a lot more aware of the risks. Sadly, we still have things like sunbeds and tanning injections and things like that, but it's getting better. Yeah,
because I don't, but shouldn't you wear like SPF pretty much daily?
Every day? Yeah. What do you mean you don't?
I've called myself out. I shouldn't have said that.
You're not leaving this clinic without an SPF. Yeah, every day.
But it's like you say that
every day
you're exposed to the sun no matter if it's cloudy and stuff.
Yeah. It shouldn't really be called sunscreen. It should be called light screen.
Light screen.
Because it is. So that, I mean, because when it's hot and sunny, you might burn. So you think, I'll put my cream on, and you will burn it. It's that hot stuff that burns you. But this now, on this grey, cloudy day, it's still light.
Yeah.
So it's light enough for certain rays. Its UVA rays penetrate all the way through the cloud, and they can actually penetrate through your skin as well. And that's where the skin starts to change. So it's actually not the hot stuff. That hot stuff is dangerous, but it's this, because we don't see it as a problem.
Yeah. Because I think as well, say mentally, I'll put sunscreen on when it's like sunny.
Sunny. Yeah.
Yeah, but not when it's like...
So I should change the name to light screen.
Yeah. And the thing as well...
Start a campaign.
Sunscreen, you always think, I don't need to put sunscreen on. It's not like sunny enough.
Yeah.
But that's just me as an average male who's stupid.
Absolutely not stupid. But we'll sort the sunscreen thing out. I get sick of the sound of my own voice with this topic, and I think, people don't want to hear me harp on about this again, surely this week, because I talk about it quite a lot. Yeah. But actually, it amazes me that people come in and they're like, oh, right, so I should be wearing it every day. And I'm like, yeah. Have you not heard me bang on about it for the other 3 years? But I guess not. So,
well, I even saw your video saying that you should put the SPF on last, shouldn't you?
Yes.
Because it needs to be facing the sun.
It's the protective thing, so closest to the sun. And again, that's another thing, being in this industry and being in this world, you can't just assume everybody knows that, but they don't.
No.
They actually don't. So.
But it was like I was saying the other day, that even though, because you're in it every day, aren't you? Mm-hmm. And you know that as just like standard, but everyone else doesn't know it. And it's important to keep on putting the same message out in different ways or different times, because that person may not be ready to consume that information or take it on board. Yeah. But maybe in a week or 2 weeks or 2 months, they will be and stuff. So.
Yeah, that's so true, actually, because some people are, their head is elsewhere when they're reading your blog, and maybe the time when you do it the next time, they're sat at home on the sofa with a cup of tea, like, so that is very true.
Because even though, like you said something once, that not everyone's going to listen or not everyone's going to hear it, are they? But if you keep on putting it out there consistently, then people will be like, oh yeah, Jenna says about the SPF. She says about the SPF again. She said it again. That makes sense. Yeah. Probably do the SPF.
What is it they say? How many times do you need to say something for people to actually
I don't know.
Register? Is it like 8 times or something?
Something about like 7 times to sell, something like that. Back in the day, but I feel like it's more now. But,
probably. Because we're busier and our heads divided into too many different places.
I think I can relate to the podcast. Yeah. Because say when I first launched the podcast, nobody knew about the podcast. But then when you post it every week and then you think, oh, Adam's got a podcast. Because then it's just like you post...
20 podcasts. I told you that. I told you I had a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So...
It's the same. It's like my actual friend. So you do more screening at the clinic? I'm like, yeah.
I've already told you about 50 times.
I've been trying to get just cracking. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I mean, though. Like, it's crazy, isn't it? But
yeah. I think it is just everyone's head is in 10 different places at any given time. I'm the same. And I need to hear things time and time again for them to actually register. So.
Yeah. Is it attention spans as well? Like, everyone's just depreciating, aren't they?
Big time. Yeah.
And it's just trying to capture people's attention.
At the right time. Yeah, when they're ready to absorb, like you say.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep banging on about it.
So what else apart from the mold screen then is big treatments? Like I said, skin, do you do a lot of eczema stuff here or not?
We do, yeah. So eczema is a medical condition, so it has to be managed. There is no cure, sadly, which is what I discovered along the way. So we do help people manage their eczema along with their medical professionals as well. But we do things like light therapy here and emollient therapy, which is really good. So it helps keeps things at bay for them. Hopefully for very, very long stretches of time, because it's a bit of there's your immune systems at play as well with eczema. There can just be times for who knows what reason it flares up again. So sadly, we can't cure it, but we do help people manage it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So what's next for Skin Genie? What's in the plans 18 months into the Houghton Hall clinic? Yeah,
who knows? That I said to you before, didn't I, that I have 10 ideas a minute, but very rarely execute any of them. So without saying too much, so historically we've treated skin conditions that are, or have I viewed as a skin health issue. Because as I say, we're not really about beauty or glamour or appearance here. It is about giving you healthy skin. So that's been your eczema, your acne, your rosacea, things like that. But what I've realised from being here, and as I'm aging myself, there's a huge demand for anti-aging treatments. So we're making a big, not a shift, but concentrating more on that area now. So we're launching a couple of new things over the next 12 months to address that. And again, you could sort of say, well, aging is that, beauty is not, but it just comes down to making people feel good.
Yeah.
And some people age better than others, and that's because they've done water sunscreen.
Yeah.
So again, just educating people on that and focusing a little bit more on anti-aging services.
Yeah.
Or aging smart. So I don't like the word anti-aging.
Yeah.
Aging well.
I think that'll be a good run though. You can focus on, like, say, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and slightly different treatments for each ones.
I think it's just kind of, maybe from a selfish point of view, but you always know most about what's happening in your world at that time. So it started with the eczema, and as my life's progressed and my skin's changed, your attention goes to different places. So yeah, approaching 40 now.
Whoa.
So yeah, we're getting right into
Age is just a number though, isn't it? It's crazy. I remember when I was like, say, 19, I used to think like my friends who were 21 were like old. And I was like, oh my God, you're so old. And then when like 24, like, oh my God, you're so old. And then some of mine are like 30 now. And I'm like, oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I don't feel my age, but
nobody ever does that, I ask. Nobody ever does. It's crazy, isn't it?
No, I think even when you're 60 or 70, we won't.
But I think, I was saying the other day to someone, when you're at primary school, you think the teachers have got it all figured out and they're like 24 or something. You think they do not have a clue.
I know, it's true though, isn't it? Yeah. I look at some of the teachers at Ezra School and I'm like,
how are you teaching?
What do you know? But they do.
Yeah.
They're very, very good at what they do. But yeah, it's always the way, isn't it? And you think even yourself, as you go through your age, you think you've got it all figured out, don't you? I know everything. You absolutely do not. So yeah, just don't feel my age. And we'll hopefully continue to feel that way.
Right, let's go on to, did we say biggest mistake and biggest regret? Yeah.
I've merged this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did give me that. And I don't think I've got like a massive regret. As I said to you before, I was going to say the not going to uni thing, because I think, oh, you should go to uni. And I kind of do hope Ezra goes to uni, but if he doesn't, it's fine. I didn't. I think it sort of turned out okay. But yeah, there's not one massive regret. And I kind of don't believe in regrets either.
Yeah.
Because even some of the biggest fails, you think, well, it's kind of shaped you a little bit, or you've learned, or whatever. So yeah, even things when things have gone a bit wrong, you think, fair enough. So no massive regrets. There's been multiple mistakes over the years. Multiple. Wasted money doing this and that. And again, nothing, phenomenal. Like no major, huge mistakes, but lots of little ones over the years. And I was thinking about it yesterday, and I was thinking, is there a pattern to all these mistakes? And I pinned it down to the fact it's when you ignore your inner, you ignore your gut.
Yeah.
When I don't listen to what my gut's telling me about a situation, a scenario, a person, a relationship, a partnership of some sort, and you kind of ignore things and you just go on the what's on paper type thing. That's when I've made mistakes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get better at that.
It's like kind of remove like emotion from decisions and stuff.
Yeah. I think that's because they say, well, look at the facts and look at this and look at that. And that can give you some information, a lot of information, but I think sometimes you get a little bad feeling in your tummy about a situation or a person for a reason.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, stop. Especially as a woman, you think, oh, you're just being emotional. Just don't think like that. Listen, base it on the facts. But actually, sometimes I think you should.
Yeah.
So that would be a regret, not listening to my gut, maybe going along with things in the past that I've maybe not wholeheartedly agreed with, and not speaking up when I think I should have in situations. So again, trying to get better at that. But yeah, no massive regret.
No.
Is that boring?
No, that's good. I think that makes a lot of sense though, doesn't it really?
You have something juicy there.
No. Did I send you greatest strength and biggest weakness personally?
You didn't.
No,
so you've caught me off guard.
I know, I put you under pressure. I did this with Jill as well, I think.
Did you?
Yeah.
Biggest strength. I will literally give anything a go.
Yeah.
Even if the odds are not in my favour, I will, I'm not shy at trying things out. So I think that's done me a lot of favours.
I think, yeah, it does. Like, a lot of people won't even start, will they? And they'll give up before they've even tried.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe the reason why less people would have their own business, because they're scared of failure and they don't want to go for it and then figure it out and think there's no such thing as failure, is there? You might think, oh, that hasn't worked, I'll try something else. Or that isn't going so well, I'll do something different.
Yeah. I think you always kind of have to look at worst case scenario. I mean, when I set up Skin Genie, I thought, right, what's the absolute worst that can happen? It's a total flop. No one wants to come and don't make any money out of it. I have to pack it in. And okay. So if you can make peace with that, I think, well, there's no shame in that. I'll just go and do something else. Back to Dermal Institute for a third time.
Please see me back.
I can't have me back. Yeah, you just think, what's the worst that can happen? How bad could it possibly be? And if it did happen, can I worm my way out of it and can I fix it? If the answer is yes, do it. But yeah, you are right. You just have to start.
That's the hardest bit, though.
Yeah, it is.
It starts the hardest, and after that, it just gets a little bit easier.
And even still now that it's obviously off the ground and running, even with little projects that come your way that you have to begin, it's still hard. Just do it.
Yeah.
What if it doesn't work out? What if it doesn't?
Nothing's easy, is it?
No, nothing good.
No.
Or nothing worth having easy.
No.
Definitely not.
Right, biggest weakness. Biggest weakness, what do you think it is? I really put you on the spot here.
Oh, God. Again, maybe trying to get better at this now. Bit of a people pleaser.
Yeah.
I do things that sometimes I don't want to do.
Yeah, I think that is it.
For other people's benefit.
And then does that make you more down or upset or miserable inside?
Yeah.
Would you say, yeah?
Just annoyed at myself, mainly.
Yeah.
My own doing. Yeah. Not speaking up in situations where I think maybe I should just say no to that, or no, I don't think that's quite right, or I just nod and go, Again, it's maybe going back to a lifetime of working with people and adapting to people. And someone once told me it's easier, it's better to get along with people than to be right. So I always kind of think that. And I do think that is true, unless it's something quite important.
Yeah, to a point, yeah.
Yeah, in clinic, day to day, and we have various opinions here about politics and COVID and government and this and that. And I agree with them all. Every single
That'll be a minefield, yeah.
So I'm glad to listen to this. But you must, and also must try and see things from their point of view and shape the conversation so that it's a pleasant conversation. So I think probably a lifetime of doing that, I'm just now programmed to agree with people or do what they're asking me to do. With some, again, but having children and running a business, time is so precious that do I want to spend my one day off a week doing that thing for you? No, it's
powerful to say no, though, isn't it?
Really,
and like quite
really
hard.
Yeah. Really hard. Yeah.
It's when you build yourself up and you're like, no, but then you do feel better after.
What I'm finding is at the moment, I can't just say no. It's no because, and I follow it up with loads of reasons and excuses as to why. And you can just say, no, I don't really feel like that.
Yeah.
So, trying to do that, but it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. I like everything.
Definitely a weakness.
Yeah. Right. Where can people find you? Let's plug the Skin Genie. How can people get in touch? Social media, websites,
socials.
Location.
God, I should know my handles.
Skin Genie 1, isn't it?
Skin Genie 1. Well done. Thank you. Skin Genie 1. Skin Genie with a G. Spelled correctly. Facebook is The Skin Genie. Website, theskingenie.co.uk. Twitter. I don't even.
Nobody goes on Twitter anyway.
Twitter is the place. But what is it
Threads.
now? We need to have a chat about that. Yeah. Can't deal with that. I can't deal with it.
And then you're based in
TikTok.
Oh yeah, TikTok as well.
TikTok can.
What's that username? Skin Genie. Oh,
Skin Genie. Skin Genie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skin Genie. Or the tribal.
Yeah. And then where can they find you in?
So in Hampton Hall Garden Centre, and you come into the garden centre, you head for the outdoor plant section, and we are nestled amongst the rose bushes. Sounds idyllic.
It's easy to find, yeah.
Big sign.
Right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, like the video, comment your favourite part. Any questions for Jenna, leave in the comment section below. If you listen on Spotify, Apple, leave a 5-star review. And we'll see you next time. Bye.